Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. Yes, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. As we cruise on into the week, it is now Thursday, November the 29th in the year of our Lord 2012. One more day left remaining in the month of Movember. And I actually can't wait to, I used to, in my younger days, I had a mustache, but I haven't had a mustache in a while. And this is, growing one for Movember. Kind of bugging me. So after tomorrow, Saturday, I get to shave it all off, all the facial hair again. And it's just itchy and kind of, you got to go through that phase, the itchy, well, at least I do. Many guys, when they try to grow out their facial hair, they go through the itchy phase. And I'm at the itchy phase, and it's driving me insane. But not too bad where I can't think still. I can still think. But here we are sitting on November the 29th, and we're just one day left in the month of November. But, wow, November just flew by, folks. This is we're heading into the last month of the year of 2012. And I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and saying, wow, this is the end of 2012. We're almost on the year 2013. It seems like it was just yesterday when we were all concerned about the millennium bug. It just seems like yesterday. This was December 1999. And we were playing the song by Prince, "We're Gonna Party Like It's 1999. Just that fast. It's 13 years, 14 years later. I mean, it's just amazing how fast time can fly. You get to look back. Well, I mean, look, as I often say, 100 years is a blip on the calendar. Not even a blip. I mean, think about it. Look, it just wasn't that long ago when it was the year 1912. Think about that. We're in the year 2012. It wasn't that long ago when it was 1912. Yeah, it was 100 years ago, a century ago, but still, 99.9% of the people that were alive in 1912 are no longer with us. And I have to keep reminding people that 100 years from now, in the year 2112, 99.9% of us that are alive today will not be alive then. I know, some people say, well, Rod, that's just a morbid thought. Well, morbid thought or not, it's the truth. Now, I want you to think about your life. From the time that, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, from the time that you were born until now. Think about how fast that time span has gone for you. And then just think about, multiplying that out a little bit and what it's going to be. For those of you who are in your 20s are really over. Once you're in your 20s, it's basically over. Your 20s are over once you hit them. Because you're going to, before, you're 21 and you're legal to go to the bar and drink now. And then before you know it, you're 30. And you're standing back scratching your head and say, well, where did my 20s go? And if you're 30 now, before you know it, there's a snap and you're 40. And you'll look back and say, well, where the hell did my 30s go? And if you're 40, before you know it, you turn 50. And, just like everybody else, you stand there and scratch your head and say, where did my 40s go? And then, of course, for those of you who are 50, in a snap, you're 60. In retirement, all of those years beforehand, when you're 60, when you were 20, when you were 30, it was something that was going to happen someday in the future. When you were 40, when you were 50, I've got, only so many years left before I retire. It's still someday in the future. Now you're 60, and that future is now. Because you go from 60 to 65 in less than a snap in your retirement age. And now you're feeling old. Now you're probably looking old. Now you probably are old. And then, folks, before you know it, 65 turns to 75, turns to 85, turns to 95, and you're no longer here. I mean, this is important. I keep railing on this because it is really important. And it is really important because we've got some stuff going on down in D.C. About, the budget nonsense, the budget crisis. And I'm listening to all these pundits and know-it-alls and blowhards, and all of them are talking about, the Republicans shouldn't play ball. They should, not put their fingers on this mess. The Republicans, they're too chicken to stand up to the Democrats. And here on the left, the Republicans should go along with this because, there's no such thing as a fiscal cliff, really. And we need to raise taxes on people in order to fix all our finances. Look, folks, here's the deal. We've got $15 trillion in national debt on the federal side. That's not including the debt that your state and your local governments probably have on the books. You're looking at $16 trillion in debt before the year 2013 is out. That's a heavy burden. That's debt that we're not going to pay back. This current generation is not going to be able to pay back. So now we are burdening our posterity, our future, not just our kids and grandkids, but our great-grandchildren and our great-great-grandchildren, because we're talking 100 years out now. In a snap, 100 years. Going to be a whole different set of people running this country. Whole different generation. The generations that are alive today, most of us, going to be gone in 100 years. So they're not going to have anybody to go back to. But they will be able to look back on history and blame us for this debacle that we're about to foist upon them, on those who are not even yet born. We got to stop being selfish. Now, I'm not saying that we stop living, but we've just got to stop being selfish. I mean, this is the height. This whole notion that the rich need to pay more taxes. Let me tell you something. That is not selfishness. Not willing to pay or wanting to pay higher tax rate is not selfishness on the part of the rich. I'm going to be blunt. It is the selfishness on the part of those of you who think that you deserve something that you did not earn. And if you're asking the government to give you welfare in any form, you are asking for something that you did not earn. You're asking to take it from somebody else. Why? Because you're selfish. And I'm not talking about the basics if you truly need basics. If you really need assistance with buying food this month. If you really need assistance with keeping a roof over your head. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you people who think that, you've been on welfare or some form of public assistance, be it local, state, or national level, for a year or more. Or this is the second generation in your family or the third generation. I don't care the color of your skin. You're selfish because you're not getting off your duff. And don't tell me, well, Rod, we're trying to look for... No. Let me tell you the person who isn't selfish. The person who goes to work at McDonald's for $9 an hour. They fully understand that $9 an hour, wherever they live, probably is not going to cover their entire monthly nut. Granted, but they do not want to sit around doing nothing, just collecting a check for doing nothing, not contributing. Those are the kind of people that deserve help and assistance. Not the people who turn their nose up at a McDonald's paycheck. And it doesn't even have to be McDonald's. Any of those, I hear these people trying to protest against Walmart. Walmart's only paying $9.80 an hour. Well, so what? Here's the deal. You took the job knowing what the salary was going to be. They didn't do it, pull a Nancy Pelosi and say, well, you have to accept the job and come to work in order to find out how much we'll pay you. No, you know ahead of time. Every employer will tell you. When they're prepared to offer you the position, they'll tell you how much you're going to earn. Well, this position pays $9 an hour. Is that okay with you? We'd like to extend you the offer. Welcome aboard. You can say, yay, great, which a lot of people obviously did at Walmart and in other lower paying jobs across the country. But then equally, there were probably a lot of people that said, no, I've turned down jobs because that I've been offered because they said, well, this is the salary or wage. And I would look at them and say, no, thank you. Because I believed I was worth more than that. And I would go on to find a position that paid me what I was willing to accept. Look, you can't. I know there are people who are afraid because that's the other part. Fear. Unmitigated fear for no reason. Well, I'm afraid if I didn't take that job, I would get nothing else. Well, if you think that lowly of yourself, then you're probably right. I'm not talking about being arrogant, but I'm talking about knowing your worth, setting your self-worth, and if you're not where you want to be, doing something about it so you improve and increase your self-worth. If that means education or experience, then get it. If it means moving to a different city or location, then do it. I can't afford to move. No, don't give me that excuse. Look, I have moved going from Syracuse, New York to Nashua, New Hampshire with just enough money to get me there and to pay the first month's rent. And to buy the first, if I didn't have a job and get a paycheck that following week, I would have had no money. Would have been broken than broke. So you want to talk about moving on nothing, moving a family on nothing. I did that. Because I went where, one, I wanted to live, and two, it was a job that I found that I felt was going to pay me what I was worth at the time, and they did. That's all you got to do. I mean, I have lived through some hard times and some good times. So people can't tell me, well, they can't do it because I did it. And I am really nothing special. I'm a human being just like the rest of you.